Would you say you can't stay away from long distance hiking?
I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, that's just when I'm happiest. This goal to work towards that is very concrete. It's having that sense of purpose is very, very nice. A lot of it is building confidence in myself, knowing what I want. It's the best kind of suffering.
The Aucilla River is one of the most interesting sections on trail. You're just surrounded by these sinkholes and, this really dense, lush jungle of palmetto. And it may not look like it, but this is actually a flowing river. And the river is coming out of one of these sinkholes here. And it's gonna disappear again into more sinkholes. Oaks, and you've got this river, the Aucilla River, that is massive, and yet it'll be right next to you and just totally disappear. It dives underneath these like underground caves, and it'll just like pop up again over there and dive under again and pop up over there. And there's like these rapids along the river, and just it's really an incredible section. Where there is fresh water in Florida, there are alligators. Am I scared of alligators? I am not scared of alligators. I think a lot of people have this like misconception about alligators where they're like these big, bad, mean things that just like want to chomp you and, take you down under the water and give you the death roll. But alligators are like super docile, and, the Florida Trail, you hike it during the winter, and alligators and snakes are cold-blooded, so they want absolutely nothing to do with you. They want absolutely nothing to do with anything. They just want to lay there in the sun, just like anywhere people might be concerned about the snakes or bears or roads or any of that stuff. But I think once you get out there, none of it's really that bad. So this would be the longest roadwalk on the Florida Trail. It's not so bad because most of it's just dirt roads. There's actually that Pepsi machine out here in the middle of nowhere, which is fun. It's in between two of my favorite sections of this trail, the Aucilla River and the Swanee River. So, the excitement is high to get from one to the other. Now we're on the Suwannee River. The Suwannee River. The Swanee River is, a favorite of many people. The section is like 60 miles long. It's so beautiful. It's these towering, massive oak trees along this like ancient river, and you're just like hiking on the bluffs above this river, and the walking is great, and it is just beautiful. It's been a good day. And I think it's just going to keep getting better. big tree. Cool. It's easy after doing the Swanee River section like 3 or 4 times to, just point at it and say like, this is the best section of the Ford Trail. In the end, it may not be the prettiest because it's hard to define what is most beautiful when so many sections are so diverse and different. With the Suwannee, you have this massive river and these beautiful oak trees and the moss hanging from them, but in other areas you're just hiking under these like cathedrals of palm trees, or just the long expansive prairie views, or the beaches up north, or all the bridges through Eglin, or oak hammocks down south. It's really hard to say like what section is best. Probably like if you're gonna do a section of the Florida Trail to just get a feel for it, I'd say the Swanee River would be the one. I think the Swanee River is where we really started hitting our stride. Being able to walk all day with minimal breaks is a big milestone. And at this point, we're even starting to hike a little bit into the night. After the Swanee River, we enter Osceola National Forest. Osceola isn't necessarily my favorite section of this entire trail. You kind of go through these massive expanses of slash pines where it's just this infinite matrix of pine trees in any direction you look, and it is pretty cool. The local Florida Trail Facebook groups are blowing up with messages of a big storm that's rolling in, and we can tell, given the trees are swaying back and forth as if they're made of rubber. Sometimes it's these hard times, it's these big storms, it's these waterless stretches or exposed areas or big miles or long distances in between towns that really make the journey what it is. Those are the times that I get the most out of. So here we found ourselves in Osceola National Forest, the big storm on its way, and all we could do was be happy and laugh it off. So we've actually gone halfway at this point. Halfway on the Florida National Scenic Trail, and are currently entering Camp Blanding. After this, Goldhead Branch State Park, and then Etonia Creek. I remember all of these sections being very nice, though I did 2 of them in the night the last time around. But yeah, very exciting. Very, very exciting to be halfway done. It's been a fun learning experience all around. Went through Camp Blanding. You know, you're just hiking under these amazing smaller oak trees, kind of creating this beautiful canopy above you, and you know, you can see off to the side these views of this like long, expansive lake, and you know, more lakes and more lakes, and after that we were feeling a little bit frisky, and you know, decided to like night hike and try and get, you know, some extra miles. Like, is there any better time to night hike than a road walk? Because it's not like you really care to see the road walk. You know, wake up in a place more beautiful than the road walk, and that's kind of what we were thinking. We only have like maybe 0.5, maybe a mile to a campsite, and just out of nowhere, I see this thing like swoop out of the tree, and it just like, it grabs her by the neck and it starts thrash. No, this thing swoops out of the tree. In my view, it looked like it just hit her in the side of the face and just like went flying off in the other direction. You know, so Lotus is freaking out. I'm glad we were as close to a campsite as we were. We could just like stop, but it's like if we could have just like found a campsite prior to that, you know, we could have just like missed out on this whole experience for the better, but then we would have missed out on this whole experience. Hopefully we won't have that experience again on this trip, because I really enjoy night hiking a little bit and wouldn't want that to be our last night hike of this journey, or forever. We're actually going into town today. If you've ever done the Appalachian Trail, you probably stayed at the Shaws in Monson.
Oh, okay. She wants you guys to see us.
And well, the Shaws winter down in Florida. I've stayed with them a couple times and was fortunate enough to make friends with them. So we actually get to stay with them down here, not up in Maine. Alright, so what is this?
The longest boardwalk on the Florida Trail.
The longest boardwalk on the Florida Trail. So we don't know exactly how long it is, but definitely over 150 meters, because there was little numbers along the way. 10, 20, 30, 100, 120, 150, etc. Yeah, really cool. Ocala National Forest. For a very long time, probably considered the section to come out and hike if you're going to hike any part of the Florida Trail. I think it's a beautiful section, but there's so many others that I think surpass it. Part of what makes Ocala so amazing is just that it's in a trail that is split up with little tiny roadwalks here and there. Ocala doesn't have any of that, and it's just this 100-mile stretch of hiking trails, single track trails, and like wilderness. You even pass through a wilderness area. You pass over this big dam and you enter Ocala. And that first stretch heading south is quite dry, probably for 15 miles, 20 miles are pretty dry. There's like some ponds out there that you could totally get water from, but it's not the greatest sources. One thing that really makes Ocala special is just these massive rolling hills, and you see that immediately. You know, you enter this forest, just these incredible expansive views of slash pine and, you know, old oaks off in the distance, and you just see these massive rolling hills all throughout the forest. And we had heard that Ocala used to just be, you know, ocean floor, and that's kind of what had created these like sand dunes almost. So you're hiking across these all the way up to the tops and down into the bottoms, and you know, you'll even have self-service at the top and nothing at the bottom. So that's, you know, almost mountain-like in a way, even though your climbs are maybe only like 20 feet, 30 feet at most. But so we did that first section, and actually Lotus and I, that was our first 30-mile day of the hike, and that was Lotus's first 30-mile day. It was maybe not as ideal as they could be. You know, we didn't wake up as early as we probably should have, and we probably took a few more breaks than we should have, considering the types of miles we were trying to do. But, you know, it just really worked out that 30 miles away was our resupply package at this little podunk store called the 88 store. It's like a bar in the middle of the woods. You know, so we did 30 and we got there at like 10 o'clock at night, and I was really proud of her, and it was a lot of fun. You have all these like, you know, you have this awesome trail, but then all these side trails to go off to different springs. I think there's like Silver Glen Springs, there's Salt Springs, there's Juniper Springs, there's Alexander Springs. Some of these are a little bit too far off trail to really like want to go to, but you're in this like dry environment hiking over these sand dunes, and then you can take this little side trail just to go to this like clean, clear, and pristine spring with like caves to dive down into, and it's really incredible. Ocala.
No, please.
Ocala.
Please say it right.
Ocala. Ocala. So what section did we just finish?
Ocala.
Ocala. We just finished the Ocala National Forest. We're on to the next. Ocala's been very beautiful. I love seeing the large pines and then cutting through these tighter little oak forests. And looking forward to the rest of the trail. Looking forward to upping our miles a bit more and finishing this thing up. I want to say we have 450 miles to go. So it's all downhill from here. The Florida Trail is still growing and it has a ways to go, but I'm happy to see that since I hiked this trail 3 years ago and am now doing it again, that a lot has changed, a lot has improved. A lot of the roadwalks are now into the woods and on trails. Though the Florida Trail has its problems here and there, it's been an amazing trail so far, and we've loved every single day.